Hi, my loves. Hi, my loves. Hi, my loves. I hope you all are good. I hope you all are good. Alrighty. I'm starting with the intro. Those who know the drill, you can skip the intro. To the remainder of you, don't skip the intro because you need to hear the intro and then decide how to proceed. Right. This video is going to be long, just like all my videos. And nothing about that will change. All my videos will continue to be long and I won't change them. Right? I don't even care what you think, right? There are many knowledgeable people who make short content, so you can go and watch them. But in this house, in this page, we make long, very long content. Even my followers, some of them keep asking me for long videos to explain things. And with that said, you don't have to follow me. You're more than welcome to watch, but watch at your own risk, knowing that nothing is going to change. And you don't have to follow me, guys. Like, you really don't have to follow me. If you do decide to follow me because you want to do it, not because you think you're doing me a favor. You're not doing me any favor by following me, right? I don't even know. The more I tell people not to follow me, it's like they follow me. I don't know why. I don't know why y'all are following me. As I told you guys, this page was started for a few people. It was never my intention or my expectation. I did not even have any expectations on this page. Both TikTok and YouTube, I was forced to go there because my followers kept on asking for content to also be posted on YouTube because for them it works better that way. Right, so now if you do follow me, know that you will always be watching long content. And to some of you, because now they had been saying get to the point, there's no point we are getting to. I don't even know what the point is. I don't even know where we are going, but we are going somewhere. We are going somewhere, especially in this video. I'll be all over the show. And now people are commenting, yo, I tried watching your videos, but they are too long. I can't. Who asked you? No one asked you to try and watch my videos. How? No one asked anyone to watch the videos. Guys, no one is holding a gun to your head on TikTok asking you to watch anyone's video. You don't have to. And that's why I make this intro to let you know that it's going to be long. Fine. Okay. If you do decide to stay, there's some house rules. Don't rush to my inbox and asking me for tips. I already made a lot of long videos with a lot of information. You will take your time and go through all those videos, or as many of them. Learn as much as possible before you come into my inboxes. And if you are the people that have been learning and you feel like you want to take your learning further by doing a consultation with me, you are more than welcome to inbox me on TikTok for the prices. You're more than welcome to email me. My email is on my bio, both on YouTube and TikTok. Or you're more than welcome to go to the website link that's on TikTok. Okay, fine. And you will be given a price list, and then once you receive it, you can decide if you want to proceed or not, or you want to go budget, or you want to go think about it. It's all up to you. Alrighty, and when you do come into my inbox or send me an email, please greet me. I'm not your friend. We don't know each other. You don't enter someone's house and just talk. When you enter someone's house, respectfully you greet them. And then they will greet you back. Okay, etiquette. I don't know. People just don't have etiquette. Coming into someone's inbox, tell me something. Like etiquette. Respect. Okay, fine. Now, let's get into the topic, which I don't even know what the topic is. But there's certain words that have been coming to me. There's a certain message that has been coming to me, and I'm going to elaborate on it. So this is not necessarily it is a lesson, but it's not necessarily a lesson as we are used to with structured lessons. Hence, that's why I have not written anything today. Okay. Seems like I'm going to be burping a lot today. Spirituality and healing. I think I'm going to touch on those two. Okay. There will definitely be a title. Once I've done recording, I'll figure out what the title of this video is. Is there an end? Is there an end to spirituality, to the spiritual path? Is there a clear end to the spiritual path? No, there's no end to spirituality. And I think I've said this before. Spirituality is a lifelong process. There's no end to spirituality. It's not like there's a destination. A destination is out of this world. The destination is godhood. And it has been also brought to my attention by my ancestors that not every single person is actually interested in being a god. Actually, there are some people who do not care about being gods, right? They just want to live a good life. That's okay. And there's nothing wrong with you. Not everyone on earth will be a god or have the potential for godhood. It doesn't work like that. And some of you innately, you know that godhood is not for you. You know it. You just know that, I know there's something out there, but being a god is not for me. And that doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't make you evil, that you don't want to be a god. No, it doesn't make you less of a spiritual person. You could even be more spiritual than us who want to be gods, right? So it's okay to not want to be a god, but there is a destination. Maybe you just came on earth to just learn, gain experience, and go back home. But while you are here on earth, is there an end? No. Will there be an end to spirituality? No. There's no end. You will move from one thing to another. You move from one direction to another. You will be going left, right, and center. There's no end. There's no end. Is there an end to healing? Is there an end to healing? Yes. But not how you picture it. Yes, there is an end to healing. There is an end to coming to a point where the thing that made you have pain no longer makes you feel any pain. To a point that you even forget that you once went through so many things. There is an end. There is an end to pain. There is. Sometimes many of you have reached your end of pain, but you are still holding on to the pain when you're supposed to let it go. So when you get to a point where you are able to let things go, those things no longer have power on you. And then there comes the end. Then there comes the end. Right? And then comes the end. But there is no end to spirituality. This is a lifelong journey. It's going to be a lifelong journey, and it's going to be a lifelong process. You will be dealing with spirituality all your life. And it's meant to be like that. And it's meant to be hard. No one ever said this journey is going to be hard, going to be easy. No. Anyone who told you this journey is easy is lying to you. This journey is never easy. It's never. And it's not meant to be easy. That's how it was created. It was never created to be easy. It was created to be tough because it's school. Right? But you do have levels, but it has levels. It definitely has levels. And I think also it's because my mentees were on an assignment, and as I've been listening to their assignments, it's also kind of helped me understand as they're sharing their experiences with the topic that they were given, and then the topics and the way they came through, and how everyone just shared one topic, but how everyone really went in and dealt with it in their own way and gave examples of their own life, you know. And when I went through that, well, I've always known this, but just going through that, you realize the uniqueness of the journey. That 2 people, 3 people, 4 people can be going through the very same thing, be going through the very same category, but they handle it differently because of their level of capacity, their level of thinking, and their level of mentality, the emotional intelligence of where they are. Right? So there is levels. There is a point where you'll come to a point where something ends. Something will end. Something will end. Something will shift. I don't know. I just saw a picture. I just had a vision of the picture of the world tarot card, right? The world. If you know the world tarot card is the last card in the major arcanas. It's the last card, right? And it represents the end of a cycle, but it also represents the beginning of a new cycle. You are ending one cycle while entering a new one. And a lot of people get excited about this card when it comes through, and it's like, yo, I'm ending a cycle, especially if you've been going through some hard stuff, if things have been tough, and you do get excited and be like, yo, I'm ending one cycle and I'm about to enter a new reality. Quantum shift. You quantum shift from your old reality into a new reality. That's the world card, right? It's the card of quantum shift, quantum leaping, quantum shifting. Fine. But what many of you fail, okay. What many of you also fail to understand is that oh, this tea is so nice. What many of you fail to understand is that change, new reality, also has its ups and downs, also has its challenges, also has its own trials. So that new reality that you're going through, that new cycle, it's called a cycle, a reality for a reason. It doesn't mean that everything is rosy. It doesn't mean that all things are working out for you in that reality. It means that there will still be some challenges that you will go through, but you will navigate them with a new understanding. There will still be a lot of challenges that you go through, even in a new reality, even in a new cycle. A new cycle has its own challenges. And it's also harder, not even harder, but it's also a little bit complicated because you've never been in that reality before. It's like moving to a new country you've never even visited. You see, if you move into a country that you once visited on holiday, it makes things better. But you are moving to a new country that you've never visited in your entire life. You don't even know much about it. Luckily, in the day of internet, You can read up about it, but half of the stuff we read on the internet are just false knowledge about different countries. People are just writing experiences because they had expectations of how the people in those countries are supposed to act. And when the people act like normal people, to them it's like, no, you're supposed to be acting differently and treating me like I'm a god. All right? So when you go to that country, you experience a new language, because each cycle has its own language. Each cycle has its own vibration. So you experience a new vibrational language that you are not accustomed to. You experience new ways of doing things that you are not accustomed to. And sometimes entering a new cycle also comes with its own ancestors, with its own angels, with its own ascended master. As you keep progressing in different levels, you also keep finding that different, you also get introduced, yes, you also get introduced to the different beings in that reality, the different deities, the different ancestors, the different angels, ascended master. And it means that it comes with its own new teachings, new tests, new tribulations, because it's a new reality. Right? It doesn't mean that every single thing, because you've quantum leaped, every single thing becomes rosy. It doesn't. You still face a lot of things. And one thing that I've experienced, right? Remember, I'm not gonna share things with you that I've not experienced. And guys, me, I don't know everything. Right? Me, I don't know everything. There are some people who are way more knowledgeable than me. Some decide not to make content. Some do make content. They know way more than me. I will only tell you things that I've tested and proven. And I saw that they worked. And those are the only things that I'll tell you. If someone else tells you something on the internet, don't come and ask me about it. Me, I don't know. They taught it to you. They know better. Fine. Now, what I've also experienced in my own quantum leaps and quantum shifts and new cycles, it is that when you enter this new reality, you go through something. You go through a process. Okay, let's get back to the video on your season of bloom, right? In your season of bloom, I taught you that you are ending one cycle, and you go through a transitional phase before you enter a new cycle. All right, you go through a transitional phase. Transitional phase, in the quantum leap video, the transitional phase, I called it the pullback, where every single thing gets pulled back, right, before you launch forward. Right, now you've been pulled back, you're in the transitional phase, and then the new reality starts. Let's say maybe your new reality was a new job, right? You got a new job. Now that you got a new job, the job required you to move to a different country, or maybe a different location. Let's not be extreme. Maybe to a different location, right? And then you get to this new location. Everything is new. New apartment. Now you're stressed out about an apartment. They tell you that they'll provide accommodation for you for 30 days, but you need to figure yourself out after that. So now you go through the stresses, challenges of finding an appropriate accommodation. Now, yes, your salary increased, but your expenses also increased, because the area that you're in is no longer that cheap area that you used to live in. Now you used to pay rent. Your rent was like 3,000. Now you are the minimum bachelor is run about the 10,000s. Right? Now you're going through challenges. Now you're experiencing challenges that people experience in the price bracket that you are in. You also realize that the food is double the amount of what you're used to. You also realize that now you need a car. You didn't have a car. Now you need a car. Now you have to figure out insurances. Now you have to figure out fuel. Now you have to figure out all these things. Now there's a particular way you need to be dressing. So the old clothes that you used to wear won't work where you are. Every single thing is new. Now, after that quantum leap, you then go through another transitional phase. It's not necessarily a transitional phase, it's a figuring it out phase. I haven't gotten a name for it. We haven't come up with the name for it, but for now we'll call it when the momentum starts picking up, right? Momentum phase. Let's call it the momentum phase. Now you're in the momentum phase where you are trying to gain root, to settle in that reality, and to be accustomed to that vibration. Because you've been vibrating here, and now you've elevated and you're vibrating here. And so you also need to vibrate mentally here. And this is where many of us get stuck. When we try to implement things of the old cycle in the new cycle. Try to live the mentality of the old cycle, we want to take it into the new cycle. And it's not easy. Right? In that new cycle, you have to now change your limiting beliefs. Realizing that to you in your old cycle, 3,000 rand was already expensive. But teaching your mind and saying, but I can afford this. This is actually not expensive. Like, what am I stressing about? One of my mentees in one of her assignments talked about that. And she's like, she is going through a process where now she's teaching herself to say, she can actually afford a better place. She can actually afford that. I can actually afford these things. I just, like, because of the lack mentality that she has went through, not even lack mentality, also growing up in poverty, also growing up in situations where things were hard, it's very hard now to come to a point where you're comfortable. It is ease. Where now you are comfortable with spending 10K every month at a drop of a hat. It's not easy. Especially when all your life, all you've ever known has been you need to pinch, whatever they call it. Where you know you needed to take the little that you had and make it run a mile. It's not easy now that you are told it's okay, relax. You're good. Yes, you're in a high vibrational state. You're in a new reality. Everything is beautiful. But it takes time for you to get accustomed to it. It does. I've seen it with myself as well. The other day, it's an experience that has been happening. And I've learned something. I also learned something that I'm not the only one experiencing this reality, right? There's many ancestors who, well, for me, this is how I've noticed it, that I have ancestors who have always been there with me. But there's so many ancestors who don't want to reincarnate on Earth in my team. Hence, that's why I work with so many people. There's so many ancestors who don't want to reincarnate in this Earth ever again. And so, part of our agreement is that they will accompany me on my journey on Earth. And that will mean that they will get to experience certain things that they never experienced. Things that they were supposed to come back for to experience, they will live vicariously through me and experience them through me. Right? And so obviously, me being me, ancestors are supposed to know everything. But they don't. They don't know everything. Right? So this at a time, we're ordering food, and I keep being told, order this, order this, order this. I order the food. The food comes, and the food is not nice. And now I'm like complaining because now things are expensive. That which I used to pay 10 rand, I pay 50 rand for now. Things are expensive. So now, obviously, me in my lack mentality, me in my previous cycle mentality, I'm struggling to adjust. Because a simple thing that I would have paid 50 rand for, I'm paying 200 for it. So I'm struggling to adjust because I still have the fears, the limiting beliefs that I need to work through. The fears that what if we spend money and then we are back where we started? The fears, the limiting belief that says that, but no, this is expensive. And they're like, no, this is cheap where you are. Everyone assumes it's cheap where you are. So the food comes and we paid money for that food. The food is not nice. And they then don't want to eat the food. And they're like, no, I don't want to eat that food. Oh, now I'm angry. And I don't want to eat the food as well because the food was not nice. And then now I'm saying to them, but why? Why did you guys say we should buy this at this shop? Didn't you guys know that the food here were not nice? And one of them came and said, how would we know? We've never went to that shop. We've never experienced the shop. Even the time when we lived on earth and this place was just starting to develop and we had an experience to go there, we didn't know. That place was never there. The place where you bought the food, it was never there. And some of the food we made you buy, we've never even tasted them. We wanted to also experience them like you. We are also on a journey of experiencing earth and enjoying earth with you. There was a time when I was applying for a car and I got rejected. And then I was angry. I was not rejected because I couldn't afford it. It wasn't an affordability thing. It was what was it? It was an issue of, I think it was a credit card issue. One of my credit cards that I was not managing properly. Not that I wasn't managing it properly. I forget about it. Even now, I've not used it for 2 months, for a month. And now I remembered yesterday, I'm like, yo, I need to go put money in that credit card. You see, so that was the issue. And I got irritated. And then I went back to Mkulu and I was like, didn't you know there was an issue? Why didn't you alert me about this thing? We could have planned this properly. And he said to me, how would I know? How would I know? That's the Mkulu who usually drives a Ferrari. Even in his past life, he used to drive a Ferrari. And he says he said to me, he's like, I've never needed credit for a car. How would I know? How would I have known? In the era that he lived in, cars were bought cash. And he had the money to buy those things cash. He had never had to struggle for money to buy a car. So that this vintage Ferrari that he drives, is like, how would I know? How would I have known? And that's when it dawned on me that, okay, they're also experiencing this new earth just like me, with these new challenges just like me. So we are all on a journey of learning together. Yes, there's high knowledges that they have, but there's everyday living things that they are also experiencing them as me, just like me. So that's one of the challenges. So now you're in a new reality. Now that you're in a new reality, everyone else is experiencing that new reality like you. It's touch and go for everyone. It's touch and go for everyone. All they know is that all they did as your spirit team is they opened opportunity, new money avenues, new opportunities for you. And you were there. Now you have to figure out your way around them, just like how they will have to figure their way around it as well. With that means there will be mistakes that are made. It's not going to be perfect. There will be a lot of mistakes that will be made. You make mistakes. There will be a lot of trial and error. And you also have to figure your way out of that way into that new reality. Figure out the way, the vibration. Also get accustomed to the vibration. If you were coming from a reality where everyone gossiped, People were negative. People were racist. You're in a new reality where no one gossips. No one has time for gossiping. No one is racist. People are just minding their own business. It's hard to the point that when someone makes a comment, you automatically assume that they're being racist when they're not. Because you are just accustomed to people who are always racist. So also in the new reality, there's a mental shift that needs to happen. There's an adjustment. Learning. There's healing in the new reality. Because when you enter the new reality, you have to heal your limiting beliefs. Because to stay in that new reality, you cannot vibrate low. You have to constantly be vibrating higher. So you cannot even afford to be limiting yourself. Because once you limit yourself, you will then lower your vibration and boom, you will go back to where you come from. So now you are faced with new challenges. You are now faced with new healings. Now it's no longer about the childhood traumas now. Yes, there's an end to the childhood traumas, to the family traumas. There's an end. You will come to a point where you've healed the bloodline. You've come to a point where you've healed your childhood traumas. You've come to a point where, listen, you've healed. And now you're entering a new reality. Those things no longer matter. But now where you are, you have to let go of those old mentalities. Now you start to heal other stuff. When you were healing childhood traumas, you did it, but now you need to allow your childhood, you need to allow your inner child to come out to the forefront and play. When you were healing your childhood traumas, you didn't have time to be thinking about money, limiting beliefs. Now that you are here and you have an edit, now you're earning 4 times more than what you used to earn. Now you are confronted with your money limiting beliefs. You are literally looking yourself in the face and realizing how limited your thinking has been. And now you have to work on that. Now this has nothing to do with other people. Now you can't even blame other people. In this new reality, there's no one to shift the blame to. It is you. You realize that the only reason why you were getting by is because you had little money. Now that you have an opportunity to be making, you have money here, you don't even know how to spoil yourself. You don't even know how to take good care of yourself. You don't even know how to start. You are stressed and worried about, will I have enough? Okay, if I buy this dress, will I have enough for next month? You have to wonder, will I have enough for rent? Forgetting that you still get a salary. So new realities have their own challenges. New cycle comes with its own challenges. That's why in the tarot card, the world is the last major arcana. Once you exit the world, you enter the Fool. And the Fool is being the new beginning, the leaps of faith, going into the unknown. So you start the cycle of the major arcanas again. When you reach the world, you then go back and start again at the Fool. But in a new reality, in a new cycle, in a new vibration, you start again. And then now that you've learned all those lessons, some stuff needs to be let go. Hence, that's why now the Fool is the leaps of faith. The Fool is the new reality with the leaps of faith, the unknown. Now you have to get yourself. But that's not the only thing. Now you have to meet new people. People who are not low vibrational. People who are not your old friends. And you cannot have the same expectations from them as the old people. Now you meet people who are comfortable in their own skin. People who don't care whether you are wearing makeup or not wearing makeup. People who don't care what you're wearing. People who just care about you. That's new, because in the old reality that you come from, everyone was caring about, do you wear makeup? Or can you do contouring? Are you a Betty? Now in this new price group, no one cares about that. Right? So now you need to get accustomed to that. You need to get accustomed to, if you were the type of person who used to buy friends, meaning that in order for you to have a friend, you needed to spend on them. You thrived. All your friends always came to you and asking you for money. You bought love. Your boyfriends, you gave them money. Your girlfriends. For you, everything was a transactional. The people stayed in your life because they gained. And when they stopped gaining, they all disappeared. Now you're at a point where you now have to make new connections and new relationships. And then you realize that the old ways of doing things, you can't buy people in this reality. People in this reality don't care about your money. They have their own money. And then now you like, they even compete about who has the highest money. In this reality, no one cares about your money. All they care about is that, can you afford the yacht? If you can't, then you don't play in our team. Now you realize there's no one to buy with your money. And many of you, instead of elevating and moving forward, you go back down to go look for people who you can buy. You go back, you keep on going back home to Kasi. Because where you stay, no one cares about that salary that you have. People have more money than you. So you have to always go back to the township to flaunt, to go buy people so that people can praise you, because that's what you're used to. And then it happens in every single reality. It happens in every single quantum shift. You will go through the very same things. So there is no end. The journey that you are on, the path that you are on, the goals you've set, that job you are manifesting, that business you are manifesting, that relationship you are manifesting, also comes with its own challenges. There will never be an end to challenge. There will never be an end to challenges. You will always be facing challenges, whether they be mentally, whether they be physically, whether they be emotionally, but you will always be facing challenges. Not all challenges are bad, don't get me wrong. Not every challenge is bad. Some challenges are good. Even in the goodness, even in the wealth, you still face challenges. Even in the good relationship, in the divine union, there's still challenges. Now that you've gotten into a divine union, first of all, before you even get into that divine union, you've been celibate for all these years. You've been doing your own things, managing yourself, living comfortably in peace. And now you have to enter a new relationship. You've been alone for 8 years and never had to deal with anyone for 8 years. Never had to deal with a man for 8 years. Never had to deal with a woman for 8 years. Now, there's another person living with you full time. First of all, before they even live with you full time, there's another person who tries to be a part of your world. And when you are used to being alone in your world, now someone wants to enter that world. And you are not accustomed to it. So it's going to come with a bit of challenges, getting accustomed to it, getting accustomed to each other's energies, getting accustomed to each other's realities, getting accustomed to understanding each other's values, what the other person can compromise on, what the other person cannot compromise on. And many of you, when you in your divine unions, when you do enter those divine unions, it's not going to be a 2-year, 3-year of a relationship. It's going to be a few months, then boom, you're married. In a few months now, you went from Not living alone in peace and having your own thing, and now having someone in your space and having to maintain and live in peace and harmony with that person who comes with their own different energies. That already is going to create challenges on its own to people, even in friendships. Not just about relationships, even in friendships are founded in friendships, because we come into a relationship with preconceived ideas of what the person is supposed to be. And when the person acts in the way that represents the authentic self of who they are, it bothers us because we had an image of how they're supposed to act. Even in friendship, you had an idea as to how this friend was supposed to act in your life, and now they're authentically fresh and they're not gonna lie. Or you are in a relationship with someone who's very authentic and they don't have time for lies, and you are used to men or women who are always lying, and this person is like, I don't have time for that. So now you have to work through some stuff. You can't work them. Some healing, you will do them on your own, but some healing needs a relationship. You need to be in that reality to heal them. Some healing, yes, you will get to a point where you've healed at a certain level your childhood traumas, your financial traumas, your financial limiting beliefs, and what you get to a certain level. But some things will need you to be in a particular vibration in order for you to actually access and heal them. Some relationship limiting or traumas need you to be in a relationship and need you to not be in any kind of relationship, but they need you to be in a healthy relationship, because many of you have never been in a healthy relationship. You don't even know what it means to be a healthy relationship. You don't even have an example of a healthy relationship from your parents, from the friend groups that you have. All the people around you are married, are in toxic relationships. You don't even know what a healthy relationship is. The only preconceived idea of healthy relationships is what we call Disney, or it's TV, the reality TV shows that you watch, or maybe a movie. But in reality, you have no idea what a healthy relationship is. A healthy relationship of two people who have healed. And obviously, when you get that into that relationship, you'll operate. It will take you time to get accustomed to it. It will take you time to get accustomed to the reality that not every girl is the way that the previous girls have been. Not every man cheats. It will get you time to accept that there are good people out there. That not every friend is toxic. That not every friend is jealous of you. That there are people you can tell things to and they won't be jealous. That there are people you can share your luxuries and glories with and they won't be jealous. And they will just celebrate you. It takes time. It does. Right? And it doesn't matter. But the challenges are there. Whether you are married or you're not married. To some of you, you might quantum leap while you are in a marriage. You might quantum leap even together as a couple. There are couples who are working with me who are working on fixing their relationships together, and they are working on quantum leaping together. And fixing, I'm not talking about where there's issues. No, they're fixing spiritual stuff in the relationship, and they're working to quantum leap together. And once they quantum leap, they're working on getting into a divine union together. That comes with its own challenges. A new reality. As a couple, you used to do things in a particular way. Now all those things are not required. Now you have to make changes. Now you have to view each other in a different way. Now there's spiritual gifts that have come up. Now one of you has to twasa, one of you doesn't. Now there's this and this and this and this. Now you have to make, now there's a move that needs to happen. Now someone has to make sacrifices and leave their jobs and blah, 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 because you're quantum leaping into a new reality. A new reality always comes with a new home. Because your home is an extension of who you are. And you cannot quantum leap and still remain in the new reality, in that old home. Many people, when they do a proper quantum leap, they have to move. So it doesn't get easier. It's just that the challenges are different in that reality. It's just that you used to have challenges of managing 5,000. Now you have challenges of managing 50,000. It means that you didn't afford anything. Now you have challenges of being able to afford, but still not going over the limit. So not letting it get into your head. Now you couldn't spend much. You couldn't get a credit. All of a sudden, they were saying no to you getting a credit. All of a sudden, you went from no credit whatsoever. Now you can get 500K in credit. That lets now everything just starts to getting into a point. Now you have to manage your desires. Now you have to be disciplined with money. And you've never needed to be disciplined with money because there was no money to be disciplined with. There was really no much to be disciplined about. And now you have no choice but to be disciplined with money. Now you have no choice but to spend money and not have fears of not spending money, but also spending it without overspending it. Now you are stressed. Am I going overboard? Am I not going overboard? Now there's that perfume you've always wanted. It's 5,000 rand. And now you're thinking, oh, okay, can I buy it? What am I going to eat next month? But not realizing that there is enough money. But also realizing that you can't buy two 5,000 rand perfumes. You can only buy one. The other one you can buy it next month. Also a challenge of putting such things in a budget when you never had to budget for perfume because you didn't even need it. There was no money for it. There was no way. Where were you going to buy it with? What were you going to buy it with? There was nothing. Now you're at a point where now you have to budget for massages. You have to budget for getting your nails done because you have not been doing your nails. Budgeting for going out. Budgeting for holidays because now you can afford international trips when you couldn't afford them. So, there is an end to healing in one reality. But even a shift in a new reality comes with its own challenges. And it will also present things that you will want to heal from. That if you don't heal them, then you will not maintain staying in that reality. And you won't even be able to move into another reality. Because we quantum shift multiple of times. It's not once. Yes, they don't all happen quickly. Some people quantum shift from one reality to another. Your ancestors move you from here, take you out of a township and put you in a particular place. That's a waiting period for them. You get a job, nyana. That job is not meant to last you long. Within 6 months, they've already shifted you into another reality. Now you are in a different country completely. In that country, they know that they're going to put you there for 3 months. For 3 years. They want to put you in that country for 3 years. But eventually where they want you to go, the place that they want you to go and ultimately experience, it will take 3 or 4 quantum shifts before you can get here. You cannot move from a township all of a sudden. You are living like an Emirati person. Doesn't happen. Can't. In order for you to move from being in the township and living like an Emirati person who doesn't care how much money they're spending a day, you need to go through multiple quantum shifts. And in those multiple quantum shifts, you work on different limitations. You work on different what. You work on different what. You work on different what. You work on understanding. I was listening to this woman the other day, and the European, and they were talking about, someone was explaining about car plates in the Emirati area. There's this thing where they have expensive car plates. Like, you can buy an expensive car plate to a point that the car plate number can be more expensive than a car. I think it's the number 7. The number 7 is more expensive than the Bugatti. It was on a Bugatti that was being sold. It was costing double the amount of a Bugatti. Is it Bugatti or Bugatti? A car plate with only number 7 on it. And that woman could not, in her mind, it could not process that someone would actually spend money on a car plate with one number that cost millions. That even the car, and then the guy was saying, it's not about, he said something like, it's not the fact that, it's not the car you drive that shows us how much money you have, but it's the number plate on your car that shows us how much money you have. That's a different status. That's a different level now. So hence, that's why I'm saying you cannot move from living in a township and quantum leap to living as an Emirati person. It takes time. There's a lot of rewiring of the mind, rewiring of the brain, rewiring of the understanding of the cash flow, rewiring of beliefs and limiting systems, and rewiring of spending. Because it takes a certain kind of mentality for a person to purchase a car plate that costs more than the car. And it's not because, and as I listened to this Emirati person talking, I realized it's not because they have money. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with the fact that they can afford. They can, but they're not doing it because they're trying to show off. When you look at the prices of a camel, owning a camel in the Middle East is expensive. Like, a camel costs more money than a car. So you're thinking here, and you're thinking, why would someone pay that much money for a camel? But because you don't understand the value of having a camel. The value of having a camel. It's not just because they are bored and riding camels. No. It's because of the camel can stay for 2 weeks, 2 months with no water. It is because a camel can allocate where water is. And that's why they are rich, because they are rich because they were able to figure out where the oil is due to their camels. A camel can take you into a desert and show you where the food is. Not only that, it makes traveling long distance much easier. And in today's world, you would think that, no, but why would I need a camel if I have a car? But that's the thing. You don't live in that region to understand why a camel is still needed. So that's the other thing. It is now that you're in a different reality. Now you have to think, like, understand the mentality of people in that reality. Understand the mentality of money flow in that reality. When I was in a township, I understood the money flow in a township. But now that I'm in a new reality, in new countries, I have to understand the money flows of that reality, of those countries. And I realized, no, here money flows. Money flows in a different way that I never understood it. Now I have to understand and get accustomed to how the money energy flows here. The ones that I've been teaching you were from here. Now we are here. I'm experiencing this and I'm learning these ones. And hopefully once I get them right, we're going to move. Hopefully. Right now I'm maintaining. I need to maintain. I need to be in this reality because, whoa, I'm being faced with so many limiting beliefs that I've been working on every single day. every single day something pops up. And I said to myself, and I keep saying to myself, like, I realize how much damage was done to me over the years. And how much of an unlearning I have to do. Now I'm on my unlearning phase. Yes. We found the term for it. Now we are on your unlearning phase. After a quantum leap, you have to unlearn. Unlearn a lot of survival techniques that kept you going in the old reality. All right, let's stop here. Let's stop here. Next time. Until next time, my love. Until next time. I love you guys, and I hope you guys are having a good day. Bye.